By a show of hands, how many of you had piracy on your bingo cards of Trump illegal activities for 2025? The man who has taken commander-in-chief lawlessness to the highest levels just found the next level in his misuse of military might, and a just-published bombshell report exposes the Trump scheme for what it is. I'm Dan, and welcome to another Occupy Democrats report. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our takedowns of Trump's schemes. Let's begin this one by recapping the piracy that is currently unfolding. Just as Trump turned our military into his personal police force to occupy Democrat-run cities, he's now turning the Navy into a Buccaneer SWAT team to capture oil from another nation. Have a look at the story and reactions, and then I'll reveal the truth behind his lies and propaganda.
Donald Trump just announced that we have stolen a Venezuelan, not stolen, but seized a Venezuelan oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. We are pirates now. That is what we have just done. We have just stolen one of their ships. Oh my God.
In the seizure of this tanker, what happens to the oil on this ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You know, you're a good newsman. Just follow the tanker.
Do you know where it's going?
Follow it. Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Is it true it's going to?
But I assume we're going to keep the oil.
You, as with your position on the Judiciary Committee, have questioned the legality of the boat strikes that were carried out by the U.S. military off the coast of Venezuela. Do you question the legality of this oil tanker seizure as well?
Well, of course I do. And I just want to tell you that the Constitution makes it clear that any president, before he engages in an act of war, has to have the authorization of the American people through Congress. The Republicans in the Senate have rejected that premise, but I think it's sound constitutional law. This president is preparing for an invasion of Venezuela, simply said. And if the American people are in favor of that, I'd be surprised. They want to know more before we get into a real fighting war.
That was Senator Dick Durbin sounding the alarm on Trump's latest nefarious strike. Now the Donald will tell you it's a drug war or regime change, but that's just hot air from the high priest of propaganda. He wants to exploit Venezuela for the same reason he exploits Ukraine, the same reason he made bizarre threats against Greenland, and the same reason he made weird overtures towards Canada about becoming the 51st state. And a Crystal Kaufman article in The Hill exposes it all.
The U.S. isn't attacking Venezuela because of drugs, it's because of minerals. A few months ago, most Americans were not thinking about Venezuela at all. Then, something alarming happened. Pete Hegseth, a former Fox News host and current Secretary of Defense, publicly suggested that a small Venezuelan boat in the Caribbean should be destroyed. Soon after, reports surfaced that U.S. forces had blown apart several boats near Venezuelan waters. The Trump administration made loud claims of narcoterrorism, but no evidence of seized drugs was ever shown to the public. Despite that lack of proof, the rhetoric stuck. It grew louder, and so did the military presence. The United States has now positioned its largest aircraft carrier near Venezuela's coast, along with aircraft, troops, and restricted airspace. That is not what a focused, limited counter-drug mission looks like, especially when federal data shows Venezuela is not a significant source of narcotics entering the United States. Something else is driving this escalation. It is minerals, not drugs. Those who doubt the centrality of minerals to U.S. strategy should consider the recent agreement between Washington and Kyiv, which granted U.S. entities preferential access to Ukraine's mineral reserves as partial repayment for wartime assistance. Whatever one thinks about that arrangement, one thing is clear: minerals are emerging as geopolitical currency. And Venezuela has the kind of mineral wealth, $1.36 trillion, according to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, that can shape the next century. The U.S. has a history of intervening in resource-rich nations behind noble-sounding pretexts. Before this country drifts any further toward conflict, the administration owes the public clarity. If the goal is democracy, state it and work toward it through diplomacy. Should the target be narcotics, present proof, not buzzwords. If the objective is minerals, make that clear, and negotiate agreements. Allow the public to debate whether any of these things are justification enough to escalate the military involvement. Venezuelans deserve more than to become collateral in a global resource race. Americans deserve more than vague speak and shifting narratives. The world deserves a U.S. willing to speak plainly about its intentions before it commits to a conflict whose costs will remain long after the headlines fade. If we don't demand the answers now, we may soon find ourselves locked into a fight we did not choose, for reasons the Trump administration never told us about.
Those are just the highlights. For the full story, visit thehill.com. The always profit-minded Trump has turned the U.S. military into a business tool. He treats the Pentagon like a division of the Trump Organization, but instead of bulldozers and cranes, he has warships. And instead of a PR department, he has the White House communications team and Republican members of Congress who will echo his every word. Trump is not using military force to defend democracy or fight drugs. He's using it to extort and corner a market. All of this began when Elon Musk was working in the White House, and I think he whispered in Trump's ear about the immense value of these resources to the technology sector, and it sent the Donald into a greedy frenzy.